Good morning, welcome back to the channel. We just thought we'd come out and give her a walk, yes, and do another video and get some exercise. 5:30, I've been up since 4, woke up at 4 and we had a coffee, did what we have to do this morning, and then just bring her out. Was actually going to go have a ride to the coast, where literally only 11-12 miles down to the coast, so we spend a lot of time over there. We just come do our little walk with the dog. Oh, she's back there. So yeah, just come out and do another video. Don't know how many of you are watching the, if I get this wrong, Henry Novick, I think it's pronounced. The thing on that is it the Southampton Police Force. Just have a sort of a bit of a chat. Who's struggling, not feeling safe. Now, we live in a little village. Now, the most dangerous thing in our village is probably not even that. It's probably getting stuck in this field. That's about the most dangerous thing. Oh no, there's actually a kid that drives at 100 mile an hour. That's probably about the only dangerous thing in the village. He drives through every day at 100 mile an hour. That's what we've got to contend with. We don't live in Leeds or Manchester or London, any of these areas where there are stabbings and things like that. Now, I'm originally a York lad. Now, back in the day, in the 80s, 90s, there were areas. So if you watch this channel and you're from York, you'll understand this. If you were born in the 70s, 80s, 90s, the areas were Clifton, Rawcliffe, Lehman Road. It wasn't so much Poppleton Road, but it was Poppleton Road, Acomb. Then you had your Lindsay Avenue lads, and that was about it really. Couple of hard nuts. They didn't like you coming in. Oh, Tang Hall as well. There was nothing. Back then it was a fisticuffs. If someone didn't like you, they just came and give you a good hiding, just for not liking. What I found in York was everybody got on with everybody after a certain length of time, because the majority of people ended up working with each other. Now, I understand like the drug side of it. If you step on someone's territory and start selling drugs in their area and stuff, I sort of get that, but I don't get that at the same time. Now, what I've watched on the internet, this Henry was a student, young lad, full of life, nice family, got accused of being a racist, making racial comments, which is found to be absolutely bullshit. I don't know if you're the same. Like, if there's any problems, any trouble or anything going off, you ring the police, because they're the ones that are supposed to protect us. Yeah? Get that? Yeah, get that. I've always been grown up, if you need safety and somebody safe, a police officer was that go-to person. When I was growing up, back in the day, we used to have a bobby that walked the streets. So if you're from York, you might know. If you don't know York, it was a typical area where it was street, then alley, then street, then alley. We had one street that went along the top, which was Berkeley Terrace, and then we had Poppy Road, which was the main road, and then we had Ambley Street, then Linton Street, then one scoot round the bottom, which I can't actually remember what that was called. But back then, what I remember, it was safe. We used to go out at 8 o'clock in the morning on our BMXs and fly about on our BMXs and no, leave it. What's that little thing? Like a little rodent. It's not a rat, I don't think. Leave, come on. Good girl. Gotta remember these pipes. Back in the day. From my tanking days. Anyway, get back to it. So yeah, and then the school was dead opposite our house. We lived on the top house, and big top house there. And the coppers used to walk up and down. Now, if you saw the bobby, I'm going to say, if you see bobby, just leg it. And we used to go hide, but they were cleverer than us. We were thick as shit. And we'd go hide in a shed or something, and he'd find us and take us back to our parents. You know, and we'd get a bollocking for not doing anything. It was crazy when you look back. Obviously that all stopped after a few years. There was a couple of lads, one particular lad, Ryder I think he was called, and he was an absolute arsehole. He just bullied everybody. But back then the streets, I felt, was safe. If you look at the time when we used to knock around on the streets, certain areas, kids went missing. But York was a fairly safe place. Now you could go, as in time policing changed, and you could go to a police officer and get help. As I've got older, I'm not saying all police, because you can watch police interceptors, night cops or whatever, and a lot of them are pretty cool coppers and they're there to do a job and they look at both sides and work it out. Then you've got the officers that I feel that don't give a shit and you're wrong no matter what. Now, take this out as you are. I always thought racism was a white man calling a black man the N-word or anything of it, but it's not. I find now racism, you know, even if you don't acknowledge somebody, you've been racist because you haven't said hello to them, or you literally cannot do a single thing in our own country. Now this poor lad gets stabbed multiple times, tells the officer, oh, I've been stabbed, and the copper says, no, I don't think you have, mate. And this, you know, this copper has gone into the police force to come and protect people. The only people that they're protecting is the opposite side. But then, why is an opposite side? Now, if you're like me, I couldn't give a shit what colour you are. I couldn't give a shit if you're black, white, pink, yellow, green. It doesn't matter to me. And it doesn't matter to the majority of people. Look at how many white men are friends with brown or black men or Asian men or Korean or, you know, it doesn't matter the colour of your skin. We all piss in the same toilet. It's just ridiculous. But then we're the ones that are called racist. And when you look at it, like, I try and sort of think of different situations, like that lad, different types of people. He was out to cause trouble. He carried a knife on him anyway. He was out to cause trouble regardless. And I've had it myself, not with anybody that is foreign or of different colour. I've had it with white lads, and they'll say something to you. Incident in Scarborough. Were you effing looking at? I wasn't looking at him. I wasn't even looking in that direction. I was looking towards my van, and he was beyond the van, and I said, sorry mate, I'm a bit confused, what's wrong, what's the matter? Yeah, I've been looking at me for. I said, the world doesn't revolve around you, mate. I'm not looking at you. He was just paranoid that people were looking at him walking his dog. I said, you've got issues, mate. So it's not just that. You know, overtaking a car. The car pulls over, then swerves into my path, then jumps out and says there's an ambulance. I said the ambulance didn't even come this way. Jumped out of his car, wanted a scrap, and then kicked the door. Then as soon as he say to our missus, ring police, get police down here. Pat, I've got autism. Fuck off. Fuck off. Don't start blaming shit that you've got that's because of your action. Oh, well, I stabbed him because I felt threatened because I'm a black man, or I'm a brown man, or I'm a Sikh, or I'm in Afghanistan, and I feared for my safety. Fuck off. You know, will I get into trouble? But this is England. I've always thought, if you come to England, now growing up, you never had this. Oh, I never saw this. But you come to England, why are you not abiding by the British rules, the British laws? Why do you think that you can bring your own law here? Now, I don't care whether you pray on a mat, you pray in a church, I don't give a shit. If you think that your God's better than my God or our God, whatever you want to say, what the fucking hell is going on? You know, who gives a shit? There's more to life than fighting over religion. Now, I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that happens in the world, and you'll never change it. You'll never ever change it. You'll never change war, you'll never change disagreements, you'll never change land and stuff, but all this fighting, what's it for? You know, in 100 years' time, everybody on this earth that is born will be dead within 100 years. And all that fighting, all that kicking off, what is the point? I just don't get it. Now, this poor lad has lost his life. 18 years old, never going to get married, never going to have kids. His family have now got to move on, and you know, without him, they're grieving. The other family's grieving, which his mum, brother and dad should all get locked up as well. What did he get? 21 years. And then we wonder why men's mental health is so high because of shit like this. You can't walk down the street without being attacked, and then them saying, they can easily say, you know, oh, well, he was calling me this and he was calling me that, he was racially abusing me. Anybody can say that. What's the first thing they do? They come and lock you up. Well, you were saying this. Well, that's what they were saying. You get charged for being a racist. Exactly the same as a woman. Oh, he raped me. They'll arrest you. They'll investigate whether you've raped her or not. Do they actually need evidence? No, they don't. They just lock you up because that person said he raped me. That person said he racially abused me. They'll just lock you up. And this is my own person, this is for stats. This is to keep the stats up. This isn't justice. This is just lock him up. Sticking your finger up at your ex-girlfriend for making an illegal move on the road and nearly causing a massive accident. He stuck his finger up at me, locked up. You know, my two middle kids that are now teenagers, well, one's an adult, one's a late teenager. He was bawling and shouting out at car window at me. We were in fear for our lives. Well, you're in that much fear for your life that we were driving behind you didn't even know it was you, driving behind you. How are you shouting out of the window? How are you in fear for your life when it took you an hour and a half to report it? You fear for your life that much. It's just, you know, it's just ridiculous. People don't get up now. People don't get up now. They don't get up, have the breakfast, have a wash, brush their teeth. Right, I'm off to work, see you later. Go to work, then come home. You had a good day at work? Oh yeah, it's been well busy. Oh yeah, we did this today, we did, you know, I've done that, and we're on target for this project. No one's like that anymore. It don't work like that. You can't go to the pub now after work without getting ripped off. It don't work like that anymore. You know, it's just ridiculous. So I had to sort of do a bit of a video regarding Henry. God rest his soul. God bless his family. And are we ever going to stop this? Is this ever going to stop? When's the next person going to get stabbed and finished off? When are the police going to learn that two-tier policing doesn't work? What I don't understand is when things are in black and white and they still deny it, it states there. Like a police officer is supposed to tell you that they're recording. They don't, or a lot of them don't, or they do it too late. And a lot of lads that are going out filming saying you were supposed to tell me that you were recording. No, I wasn't. It's in your policing policy. I know we're going off a lot of different things here. Henry to 1 minute the police, but I lie in bed on a night and I think of all this shit and I think, oh, we need to talk about that, and we need to talk about this, we need to talk about that. But so my bottom line is, are you frightened to walk down your street because you have all different types of people from all over the world that are in the country, legal or not legal? I think a lot of British, if you're contributing, fair play. If you're here legally, I don't think the British have got a problem with that. Majority of British don't have a problem with that. But if you're coming over and you're getting papers, or you don't have papers, but you can apply for a credit card, you're getting 3 meals a day. You're getting 3 meals a day, accommodation, and we've got our own homeless living in shelters, doorways. What is going off? But yeah, the bottom line is, do you feel safe to walk your street? You know, it's not like it used to be. People don't scrap anymore. People come out with a blade or a screwdriver, and you know, the world has just gone to shit. There's no jobs. You know, you look at some towns and cities, there's absolutely nothing for kids to look forward to. Unless you go into plumbing or joinery or building, what is there? You know, you earn pittance in a shop, a supermarket. There aren't a lot of factories around anymore like there used to be. Like the Terry's chocolate factory in York, Roundtree's Nestle has virtually vanished. There's not a lot there. Terry's went. They've got Cravens at the back of the old manor school that used to be there, if you know that. But you know, who wants to earn minimum wage working in a garden centre for 60 hours a week? Unless you're green fingered, you know, it's mad. It's mad, and I just don't get it. And you know, it makes me sad, the fact that we've lost a young lad to this. And I suppose we've just got to prepare for this to be all the time. We'll never understand the government never do what they say they're going to do. I remember when my dad was alive, are you voting? What for? What am I voting for? Yeah, we're going to plough 60 million into the NHS. They get into power. Has 60 million been put into the NHS? Nope. But they still have, you know, a massive place in London. Still, they, you know, their house is worth 1.2 million, and they've got a villa in Spain or in France or wherever that, you know, we pay for virtually. And that's what angers the British, that the government, they don't have to worry about the price of a loaf of bread, where some people do. They have to budget for everything. And you watch things on YouTube, on telly, on documentaries, on the news. People are just living in pure squalor, and they're paying mega money for a little shack, and they're getting nothing for it. It's not life, is it? It's not how it used to be. Not like it was in the 90s. You never heard your parents moaning in the 90s. Now we're parents, we're moaning in 2026 because mental health's on the rise, food's on the rise, all your basic needs are on the rise. Fuel, yeah, has dropped a little bit, but it'll go back up. And people are struggling. Do the government give a shit? No. Do the government give a shit about Henry? Nah, absolutely not. Did the police give a shit? No, absolutely not. They didn't. Nobody gave a shit, or nobody gives a shit, and that's what pisses me off, really. We're not getting anywhere, are we? You know, you're just waking up day to day, you know, thinking, what has today got to bring? Now, we're quite lucky because we've got our own businesses, so we're quite lucky. But some people aren't so lucky. Some people have got to go to work. I'm not saying we don't go to work. We work hard at what we do. Very hard at what we do. But we can relax now. The money comes in from what we do quite fast. But where before, when we worked for people, you've got to wait a whole month for your wage. And when you look at your wage for the work that you've done, like my missus, fabricating, came home most of the time looking like a blue smurf. You know, cuts all over her hands from being cut, you know, cutting steel or cutting whatever when she was making refrigeration units. Absolutely black as the ace of spades, for pittance, for nothing. And also to be treated like shit. I've worked for companies that have had more staff than the has had more staff pass through the door than NHS staff are actually in a hospital. They couldn't keep staff because they don't treat them right. So, you know, working on a truck, you're just a bum in their seat, making an absolute fortune, getting pittance, and that's why they're driving around in a posh car. So we decided we'll work for ourselves and we'll drive around in a posh car. But we're lucky that we fell on something that has made us money and is making us money. Some people just can't get that break. Some people don't know where to start, but also some people don't give a shit either. They don't care. They're not bothered. They just want the government to pay for them, the taxpayers to pay for them, and, you know, yeah, it is what it is. So, yeah, that is my rant. That is today's thing. There's no wonder men are struggling when they're in fear to walk down the street. They're frightened to death just to step out the door, just in case A, they get stabbed, and B, they get accused of being racist. You know, the majority of British couldn't give a shit what colour they are. We just want the country back to normal, people to love each other, care for each other, and watch each other's backs. Is it ever gonna, is it ever gonna happen? Probably not. Not in our time anyway. It's just gonna get worse and worse. We're just never gonna get anywhere. So anyway, 6 o'clock. We've had a good half hour out. We're just gonna start heading back. We'll be about 15 minutes back home. We'll go get a coffee. Lads, like and subscribe. Come to the channel. And I am trying to get some more videos edited and on. I'm going to talk about other stuff as well. Cost of living, are you struggling? Are you struggling at home? Partners? Are you and your partner struggling? Are you and your partners fighting? What's your views on people that just sponge and get everything? We've got loads of topics to get through. Loads of videoing to do, loads of editing to do, loads of walking here, and we'll get them on. But yeah, help the channel, hit the subscribe, hit the like, leave a comment, and we shall see you on the next one.